All right. Well, welcome one and all to my first live stream in terms of art, really. At least, and for this YouTube side, for those watching YouTube, this is the first stream ever on this channel. Uh, so, if you do not know me, I am Drifting Quote. At least that's my online personality name. And I've been drawing for quite a long time, ever since I was a young child, probably about probably like 4 or 5, give or take. And long story short, it was my first and main passion in life till about high school, I'd say. I was always like the best drawer in my classes, whether it's elementary, middle school, going all the way up. And then I kind of hit a bit of a plateau because I always kind of rested on my natural talents and laurels a bit. Mainly because I just, I never really had competition. And I also never naturally had that drive to get better because I was already better than other people. So when I finally went into advanced placement art class in my senior year of high school, I ran into some competition. And competition can be healthy, especially when they're your peers and people that it's a healthy competitive nature to just want to get better in your own art because you see other artists excelling. Unfortunately for me, I'm a naturally competitive person, and when I ran into these people that were much better than me, I, instead of taking it on as a challenge and a respectable peer in my group, I basically kind of shut down. I basically kind of gave up on art and was like, these people are so better than me. I don't want to do art anymore. And I started gravitating towards other mediums of creativity that I was, already interested in by that point in my life, but I kind of just abandoned my original love. And I then pursued film. I dabbled in animation a little bit in community college, but then went into film after that, and basically studied film community college, went to university and got a degree in bachelor in cinema. And years later now, I was inspired. I even in my current job, I actually don't work in cinema at all. I worked on a production a couple years back that kind of made me realize I actually don't want to live my day out in my life working on film sets and even doing pre-production, production. Like I got my creative fill from my experiences in the film industry, or lack thereof even. And my current job, I found that I had enough time to, pursue my hobbies and things like that. And most recently, probably like, what day is it today? It is the 14th of March. And not even 2 days ago, 3 days ago, I ran into a video on Proco. If you don't know Proco, that is the artist's site, art school, online art school, art tips site, ran by, forgetting his first name, something Proco, but it's named after him. And great, fabulous artist, does a lot making internet content and grabbing artists internationally around the world to just give lessons and tips on creating art and drawing and illustration. And one person that came on, it's I think a year-old video, but I only saw it a couple days ago, was Peter Hahn. Those of you in the art world probably already know him, but I had never heard of Peter Hahn. Or maybe I had seen him in passing back when I was really trying to get-ish better at art during high school, but didn't really see him. Anyways, I watched a video of him going on his sketchbook tour, where he just had a bunch of sketchbooks he grabbed at home. It seemed like Proco was doing a video of him at like a con or something, and he just flipped through his amazing sketchbooks. They were absolutely gorgeous. They had the same evocative feel of Kim Young-hee, which is the late Kim Young-hee, the fabulous Korean artist that basically like brought me into the world of dynamic sketching and utilizing visual libraries, and it was just so cool. And Peter Hahn's sketchbooks basically was evocative of the same thing, and come to find out later that he was part of Super Ani, the same kind of artist collective group that Kim Young-hee was a part of at the time. But yeah, it was really cool, and I just got a flash of inspiration. And oh, howdy Drift, Django, welcome in, brother. Thank you so much for stopping by. Welcome to my first live, where I'm going to be doing some live drawing and just, I don't know, having fun drawing again. But thank you so much, brother. And Peter Han the Goat, yes, dude, he's my main inspiration right now. He's given me this flash of inspiration to just start making sketchbooks again. But yeah, immediately, like within a couple days, I saw Peter Han and then started binging and seeing his videos and started diving into dynamic sketching and things like that. And I just got reinvigorated with the passion to draw again. It seems so simple, right? You see a video and all of a sudden you really want to draw after all this time of not drawing, but it was that simple. I saw an artist create stuff that was so cool, and I wanted to make similar art and just have passion in that art. And it does help too that he was doing ink focused work, even though Peter Han can do much more than that. But Peter Han did ink focused dynamic sketches, which I transitioned to in high school a bit more. Even though I was attempting digital art, I really loved pen work and ink. I loved it so much. I basically dropped using pencils at all after that point. So that's what we're kind of doing right now. This is one of my sketchbooks that I have currently, and I have two main ones I'm using right now. This one is an old one, actually. This one is from technically 2022 or 2023, but this remained blank for a long time. You can even see this current drawing, not current, this is old drawing. This is from 2025. You can see my artist signature in 25 up there. This is of a false Hydra from D&D, or rather extended D&D from Community Made Monsters. I think when I first read about the false Hydra, I had to draw it. This was from last year, and that was kind of the only drawing that's in this for a long time. But then recently, once I got inspired, I just had to start filling it up. So I got this one, which we'll go through. I use this sketchbook mainly for, I guess you could say, practice. There's going to be a lot of primitive shapes. There's going to be a lot of line work. There's going to be a lot of just practice stuff. I have this other one, which we'll go through this one after I show you this one. This one, there's a bigger guy I just got recently, which I was inspired. I was inspired once again by Peter Han, who he was showing off his sketchbooks, and the sketchbook he had, and he had this old sketchbook, this old sketchbook, that was like a hand-pressed paper, and it was kind of larger, and that made me go like, well, shit, bro, I need a new sketchbook. So, yeah, I have this one. You can see how fibrous this paper is, and it's really, really great. Now, the funny thing about both these sketchbooks is you notice, hey, that's weird. That's probably not the right way to open this. You're right. Technically speaking, you should open something like this way, because then the back flap extends around, it seals it, and this is the opening natural flip, right? But no, ladies and gentlemen, not my dumbass. What I did was I was like, oh yes, the left flap always open left flap, right? So I started the book, yes, with the flap tucked under, like this. Oh, how idiotic. Ugh. And you're like, oh, well, it just happened with this one. No, even this other one is the same way. It's all backwards. It's up backwards and technically upside down, but we'll take a look at this bigger one in a bit. We're gonna go through with this smaller one first. We'll go through some of my early sketches I've done. So again, this book, and you'll see in the back too, there are like lettering. This I studied. I was getting a minor in speaking German in college. But I ended up stopping, but this was supposed to be, not a sketchbook, this was supposed to be like a book where all my German notes were supposed to be. Didn't end up happening, obviously, as you could tell. But anyways, back to this. Let's fucking focus. I'm getting lost in the sauce. So, this was the only drawing in here for a long time. Then, I had started a Dungeons & Dragons campaign about 2 years ago. That's still going on strong right now. We actually, it's Saturday, March 14th at 1 p.m. We have a D&D session in 6 hours, actually. Or actually, not D&D, we're playing Shadow Dark today. It's a kind of a similar TTRPG. Anyways, but this was me kind of sketching out the main continent of Galrock here. I can even remember these landforms. I think in the middle here was the Toothed Peak. We have here the Crescent Peninsula, the Kingdom of Austere, the Fell Territories of the Droxmere, the Blue Song Collective, and then the Galroic Empire here along the Lions Bay. Even without labels, I remember where this shit is. As you could probably tell, I am the Dungeon Master of said D&D campaign. So, and let's see here. Here's a bit of a continuation of said... Ooh, let's see if we can... in here. I've said things. Now, this is probably a bunch of gloops and globs to you. You're like, what the hell is that? Well, Galrock is right here, right? And all these are larger continents. I started off with the continent of Galrock, and the campaign had expanded where we're questioning about the greater world. And I was like, oh yeah, there's probably some other continents or whatever. So I have other continents like Mitra to the south, Okoa to the east. Those fucking cars outside are very loud. Noreen to the top, to the north, and then the largest continent, Arkasa, to the far west. And actually, Arkasa is the continent that my players are on currently. They're currently there in our second campaign, which is happening currently. We're kind of running 2 campaigns semi-simultaneously. But yeah, anyways, that was me kind of workshopping the world of Eridan. But then I just started doing this. Primitive forms, trying to get my hand back into space. Mainly been using these. These are 2 fountain pens. This one, it's hard to tell on the camera, but this one's a little green, slightly, really dark green. This is my medium tipped nib. And this little guy is what I use for a lot of the sketching, which is the fine tip nib. These are cartridge and fountain refill from, ink bottles. And then sometimes I've been trying to do more, because I'm usually just using ink only in terms of just straight up these black inks. But I try to use a little bit of gray tones in a bit of an ink set that I have. But again, primitive forms, we're looking at kind of just getting used to drawing spheres again. I mean, I'm telling you, before this point, I really hadn't been drawing, like, nearly at all. It's kind of impressive how little I was drawing, yet somehow drawing was my first passion and love. I think which is why I'm falling so hard back into it, because I've been loving the process. And yeah, anyways, we have eyes, just practicing things, and this is all without reference. This is just me going like, oh, what's the feel of this again? How does one do these things with your hand? It's a weird way to just rediscover yourself. Here, move this guy's out the way. We have obviously gesture drawings, but a lot of just thinking about structure, primitive forms within the human body. These were done with a quick little website that I found on Reddit. Artists were passing around these kind of free websites that have free references for postures, positioning. About half of these were like nude models and things. I wasn't going to draw any dinglings or fishy bits for, my own sake. I'm okay rendering them. It's whatever. But it's just, these obviously, I cared more about the positions and the postures of them rather than those detailed bits. More of this. Me just putting a face together because I was like, dude, I gotta tell you, one of the things, or a couple things that I struggle with, because at the end of the day, I love drawing, not the greatest at it, but I always struggled with faces, and I always struggled with feet and legs. Maybe just legs as a whole. Maybe not just feet. Feet attached with legs and faces. I like drawing upper bodies quite a lot, and arms especially. I think the forms of the arm are very fun to draw. Hands, as though I struggle with them, I do enjoy drawing hands. But faces and legs, by God, man. Struggle quite a bit with that. But anyways, so we are looking at the hands, positioning hands, just practicing. A lot of primitive forms, adjusting forms. And And then I started picking up some exercises because of through our the wonderful Peter Hahn. He teaches dynamic sketching at Art Center in Pasadena, but he offers a lot of his live streams and things like that where he just goes over the small, basic practicing gestures and things that kind of just get you going. And I basically started doing that, me practicing lines. This was me doing it incorrectly. And again, primitive forms, a little bit of perspective here. A little bit more, and then more perspective, 1 point perspective, subtractive primitive forms. And then we get to this, where I find a video of Peter Hahn's linked to, I think, one of the colleges. I forget the acronym for the college, but he literally breaks down the opening like strategies of practicing and warming up and the things he teaches in Dynamic Sketching 1. And I left notes here, just me following it up, basically just like straight lines. Short, this should be longer, about 2 inches, and then medium straight lines. And you see times 8, times 8, times 8. You practice over the same line 8 times. Ba, 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 ba. So each section is essentially like 24 if you want to do 4, but it's about 3 to 4 lines. So go, boom, boom, boom. Now you do arcs, arcs, training your hand, muscle memory, muscle memory. Now we're going zigzags, zigzags. Then here we practice ellipses. I technically skipped a step, and you'll see why, because I thought that was it, but then I found out, oh wait, no, you're supposed to practice waves along with those. So I kind of flopped back because I skipped it by accident. But yes, after all the line work and practice, you do ellipses. You start small, then you do like edge to edge, then you do interspace interlocked, increase size, start doing slanted work, space, slant the other way. All these things to just warm up the hand, get form. Then extra ellipses exercises, practicing a bit size change and perspective, finding, scale change at these angles of a column, edge to edge. Damn, the car outside is loud. And ellipses within ellipses, right? And then the next step to practice is just texturing, dark to light, finding values, cross-hatching, love cross-hatching, but then, practicing other variations to show and give texture to form and shadow. That's been a lot of fun. It's been cool. And then, let's see, we got over to 1 point perspective, then 2 points. I could have done more, some ink drops, whoopsie daisy. Overlapping shapes, practicing those, and then fundamentally understanding the 5 core shapes of dynamic sketching that builds basically everything that you can see and observe. Cube, the sphere, the pyramid, the cone, and the cylinder, right? And you can build anything, right? By cutting, subtracting, interlocking, everything, you can build anything with forms. Then we're talking about forms and shape with contours, and this is where this guy, I think, did all the great work, comes in. Just stuff, right? Form relationships, the cutting, interlocking, right? So today, after that long intro, I was basically in the middle of doing this when I had the idea of like, wait, I'm already going to be trying to draw every day. I think it'd be nice that if I can try to stream it every day, I'll be doing it every day. But if I could, stream it for like an hour or 2 every day of me just maybe past the warm-ups or maybe with the warm-ups, just doing my live sketches, my live ink work. I think that'd be fun. So yeah, I was in the middle of finishing this. So I'm probably just going to finish doing, excuse me. Wow. I was impolite. I'm going to finish doing my wave practice. I have 16 more, and then my zigzag practice, and then we'll just hop into sketching. Normally I would probably do, maybe some primitive more forms and maybe some light, dark to light stuff. That'll take a little bit of time. I don't have too much time to stream, so we'll just finish this and we'll get this guy. Yeah, so thank you for joining me if you guys are, or if you have to go or do anything. If you are another artist, feel free to just grab a pen, paper, brush, and paper and go ahead and draw along, listen to some vibes. And I'm happy to answer any questions or just chit chat. But yeah, I'm just gonna vibe and do this, and then hopefully give some mild entertainment. I might talk to myself a lot. Arguably, no one's really watching besides my boy Django. He might have left already, but um, yeah, I might even keep myself entertained. So we'll see. Let's get into it. Let's see if we got some juice in here. Got some juice. The importance of this exercise, as you can see, we're kind of going over our own lines. It's keeping consistency. Now the importance is the smoothness, and not. Although speed is relatively important, Mr. Han, Professor Han, says, you're trying to mix both. Try going slow, then try going fast. Try and find a perfect medium between both. So we're gonna just try to do that, Me here, Jenki says. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you having you here, man. That was 4. It's just good, solid hand warm-ups. Next is zigzags, which I'll be... Oh, wait, no, what am I talking about? I only said 16. Bro, I need medium and long. Hold on, guys. What's important is that we're being consistent about these exercises. You might hear me blow a little bit. I don't want to be scrubbing ink and getting a lot of residue. Alright. That was probably a little more than 2 inches, so we're probably gonna go about midway through here for the long waves. And yeah. And I've been watching a lot of Peter Han live draws. They've been so beautiful and interesting because as talented as he is, I think his even greater talent is just the absolute gems and interesting stuff that man drops during lives. Because he's making these amazing pieces. I mean, he is a professor, he's an instructor, so it makes sense. But yeah, people are asking questions, and he's just giving such great insights while he's pushing out absolute banger sketches. Now he admits though that they're sketches, but a lot of them end up being decently detailed drawings. So there is I don't know, there's just a beauty to it. And I would literally normally when I draw, if I'm not streaming, was just put one of his live drawings on and then put it in the background, and it's like I'm drawing in a classroom again and having the professor talk to me while we're both just chilling and drawing. And I think what I'm finding most fun is that, I did like the challenge of art class. The last art class I took was advanced placement art, studio art in high school. But I was just intimidated, man. There was just so many great artists there that were, technically better than me. Their technical skill, the illustration skill, even better yet, the colors. I hate colors to this day. That sounds wrong. Don't say that. Sorry, I hate using hues, saturation, and color in my art. That's why I love ink work. I don't know, I like the vibe of it. Mainly because I never got a grasp of color. And thus, it frustrated me. How a kid would get frustrated and kind of give up when they don't quite grasp a concept or struggle with something in school. As someone who works with kids, as my job entails, I see that so often. And I always tell my kids, hey, you're not going to be great at something the first time. And that's why we're here at school, because it's a place where you can make mistakes. And that is the open and greatest point in your life when you can learn, is when you're making a mistake, right? So we always learn from our mistakes and our genuine failings and misunderstandings more than our victories. And that's something that took me a while to learn, which is sad to say, but I had to mature in life. I'm working with kids for, I guess, 11 years now. And it's just weird. You could say it all you want, right? But until you live it, or until you genuinely have that eureka moment, it doesn't quite hit you. It does not quite hit you. So I lost count of how many I did on here. I'll say that's 7. say that's 8. Training the hand. Uh, Getting your hand warmed up. My hand is a little cold, figuratively and a little literally. Though it's going to be warmer today in California. Kind of a warmer week. We've had a cold spell a bit here in the Bay Area on the end side of spring, but it's warming up the next. This week it was a little warmer, but this next week we're also warming up a bit. I'll say that's 5, 6, 7, 8. This should have gone on longer. That's fine. Okay, last ones are ziggy zags, and let me get a good blow on these. I actually so apologize what the hell that sounds like on the mic. I want to make sure this ink's at least a little dry. You should get one of those fans, but I feel like the fan's gonna be like throwing knives in your earlobes, so I doubt the blowing is that much better. That's what she said. All right, here we go. So ziggy zags. Are you gonna rub on my hand? Gotta check a little bit. What if I drag? Oh, not too bad. Okay, we're dry. Cool. So we'll do 2-inch ziggy zags. I'm gonna try to remain consistent on the line. And what's funny, I was showing this exercise to one of my kids. I'm not a father, but the kids I work with at our after-school program. And she is a great artist, and she's very passionate. She's very inspired by anime, as a lot of young kids are. And, you know, or just any kid is going to be inspired by the art that they consume, right? What's funny is when I was a kid, actually, focus, Robbie. You're on a story. Don't go on another tangent like you always do. Anyways, I was showing this exercise to her, and she was very fascinated by the line work exercise. Now, obviously, partway through, you could see that, like, where her confidence gained and waned. On the straight lines, she was actually very confident. She took her time, but with a certain confident, brisk pace to each line. But when she got to specifically the zigzags and the waveforms, she'd do like an initial wave, but not realizing that her first wave is going to establish the stroke, like, kind of pace and like the initial. It's basically the groundwork, right, for what you're going to be following through. And because she kind of just went across the way, she's like, "Wait, this is really hard to follow." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, you know, you're laying down essentially the sketch, the foundation of your work, and if you're going to follow that through, you kind of made your job a little harder." And you could see as she continued to go across that same line, she just kind of gave up and kind of didn't even follow, and she just wiggled her hand. And we laughed about it, and, you know, I just kind of told her, like, yeah, you know, like, obviously that was probably a bit frustrating, because it's like you look at it and go, oh, now I got to go over this really hard line I set up for myself. I was just telling her, like, you know, you didn't have to make it that hard. And at the end of the day, it's not about speed. I'm not here to judge you on how well you do it. You're gonna mess up, and you're supposed to. And heck, it might even look bad and not up to par to what you're used to. But that's part of the process. Embracing that is gonna make it, I think, a lot more fun. So, what's there? Let's get our medium zigzags and then large, and then we're gonna go straight into a good sketch here. I'll probably put it right here. I would do it on my other big one, or maybe should I do it on my big one? Maybe I'll do it on my big one, because I already have a reference photo that we're gonna work with today, and we'll probably only work maybe 45 minutes to an hour on it after we're done with our warm up. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, and like all intents and purposes, like, look at my zigzags, right? They're not very uniform. They're not perfect. Nothing ever is. Nothing ever will be. But practice makes progress. Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes progress. The sooner an individual understands that, the more they will learn, the less they will be disappointed by setbacks. That's like 6, 7, 8. Sure. Sure. Yeah. Me losing count. You guys are having a good Saturday. I guess it's afternoon now. Yeah, I'm a 1:20 Pacific Standard Time. Lee Django, if you're still here, my friend, you're having a good Saturday. 6. Okay, Django. Well, you know what, dude? My kids are quick. Actually, they've gotten over the 6-7 a little bit now. They've gotten over it. Maybe my youngest kids, maybe closer to like TK to like first. They'll still pull out a 6-7 here and there, but the older kid, they're over it. They're so done. They're probably just as over it as we were when it was in its peak. But yeah, 6-7. Thank you for keeping it alive, Jengi. Oh, that was bad. Let's focus. Let's focus. Focus. 6, 7. Beautiful. And then we'll try to squeeze them in here. Full page. So yeah, the exercise always goes 3 or 4 times 8 on all of them, right? 8 times through every stroke. Small, just about 2 inches. Medium, half page. Full page. I tend not to go all the way to the edge just because, like, I don't know. Come on. Who wants to draw that? All right. Last one's at the bottom here. Gotta kind of tug on the page. That's oh, it's okay. And then as for what sketch and study we'll be working on for today's stream, we are going to be shooting for, I don't know, we'll be shooting for, I had picked out a beetle. I want to do like a bug study. But I wanted to do the beetle specifically because I wanted to make a beetle knight. A la Hollow Knight, which, I mean, burn me at the stake. I have yet to play Hollow Knight. I know it's really good. Metroidvania. But yeah, I just haven't found the time to play the OG Hollow Knight, and then obviously Hollow Knight 2 came out. Behind the curveball on that one. I assume that was 8. I don't know. Oh, come on. But yeah. So I want to do like a bug knight because I still want to maintain my armor study. Even though we're still like, you know, practicing primitive forms. You know, Peter Hahn had a great idea because is probably how I felt early on in my art journey. And which probably what made me give up was I felt so behind that I felt like, oh, I need to do all the basics, right? But then you fall into a trap as an artist where it's like, yeah, I'm doing all these studies and I'm doing the basics again. And people would ask Peter Hahn on his streams, like, so when do I do enough basics and do enough practice that I'm ready to just go full force into better things, like studies on, you know, like example, like what I said, like I want to study armor and knights, studying knights and studying these things that I want to learn. It's like, well, he said, we'll do both. Because he said it's an easy way to burn yourself out where you're just you're putting off this mental block of like, until I get proficient with primitive forms and this or that, I can't do those fun things I want to do, or those things I'm interested in because I need to do the basics. Like, yes, you could do the basics, but at the end of the day, art should be fun, right? It should be a form of expression. It should be something that brings you joy. And yeah, is stuff like this that I'm doing right now, right? Is it monotonous? Yeah, it can be. I find it a little fun right now. God, I'm messing those up. You know, there is a point where it's like, yeah, there's a certain monotony. It's like, yeah, would I rather technically be studying some knights or beetles? Like, yeah, but the practice is necessary. And, you know, Who says I can't do both, right? Like, I'll show you guys on stream the picture of the drawing I just finished last night. My technical first day, like using the big sketchbook, which is my big project, is I'm gonna fill out that sketchbook this year. Is I'll do one more. I think that was like probably 6 or 7. Yeah. Hey, cool. Give that a bit of a blow. Cool. All right. And you know what? I want to do the final beetle piece on the big one, which I'll show. But what I will do is I'm gonna bring up a picture on my monitor. You guys won't be able to see. The stag beetle. Did break this down. This down a bit so that we can adjust my light here. The light changing. Shit. Give you guys a little bit of a clue here. I'm gonna do some light sketch work. I have this picture on my monitor of a beetle, and I want to break it down into its primitive forms a little bit, so I could get an idea of what I'm building here. This is a top-down view, so it's not gonna have much dimensionality. But I'm gonna get a different picture. Or maybe not. No, I'm gonna see the vertical forms here, and we're gonna see. This looks like to be a taxidermied beetle, but you know, tone that kind of breaks out. And very tiny line behind here. But you know, we're just gonna have to suggest that, see how that feels. Oh, I guess it isn't. If I'm looking at the other beetle, I guess it's literally just that. Actually, like that's the actual true form. I thought I was getting perspectived a little bit, but no, it's literally just that. It's hind port. Wow. This form here broadens a little bit. Get this kind of here. And there's a bit of like a half ball shape along this. It kind of brings it around. I don't even know which beetle this is. Probably should have looked. I think I type in stag beetle. Yeah, it's a stag beetle of some kind. Okay. I mean, that's like a very basic form that we're kind of working with here. And then why I wanted to kind of do that top down is kind of looking at those shapes. Want to, right? Now we're talking about the head. A little bit of perspective. Right. Body here. Bit of a 2-point perspective. And this one I'm gonna make. Seems to be a little bigger. I don't know. Slightly bigger look. There. All right. At that, Play the camera. See it okay. Let's boot it up. The reason why I'm kind of looking at these forums and trying to find how they look in this space. All right. When I get a different picture. Look. Hey, this is kind of sprawled out. Like a bit of cylinder. Actually juts out. Little look almost. Thing. Oh, we gotta give a little shake, do we? A little shake, a little shake, a little shake. This guy is on. Big in the beginning. Come on. There you go. In the beginning. The way. This guy needs a little juice. Come on. Off topic. Got some good news. Passed my license exam. Failed 2 times, but still pushing through. There's Django's finally here. Yes, sir, Django. Well, that's not off topic, bud. Thanks for letting me know. Congratulations, man. And like I said, you learned a lot from failing, and it brought you where you need to be, man. So, congratulations, bro. Proud of you. Nurse Django is finally here. You fulfilled the Filipino destiny of finally becoming a nurse. Well, there you go, man. Super happy for you. Congratulations. Good shit, Jengi. It's kind of kicked up this way. And then the last one. Curve this guy. Right, that tucks way back. It's in the back. Something. Skinnier than I'm expecting. It's funny. It's because these beetles, they have this like, okay, it's like base of the leg, and the medium one follows a similar proportion, a little smaller. That second one, or the third, the tertiary segmentation, is like, looks like serrated end of a of a picnic like plastic knife, you know. And it comes up skinny. Some of them are really skinny. Looking at this reference right now, but it's like, come on, buddy, come on, you got it. Have to clean you yet. Boom. And then the actual head of it looks like a little like 3-clawed hand almost. Very interesting. Very interesting. this guy's little brother friend. Let's see. This is gonna come off the page a little bit, which my fault for putting him all the way down there. But you. Ah, shit. Where's my old reference? Which one did I? Where's my guy? My goat. Shit, where'd they put him? Got my guy in solitary confinement. Where'd he go? Wait, where'd my reference go? Did one of the first ones. Stagbeat. Oh, this one. Yeah, there you are. Alright. I guess it wasn't that big. I made this lump too big. It's probably half the size. That's why we work out sketches. This particular one, because this form is gonna kind of oop words. Hey. Honestly, it really shouldn't come out this way, but because I want to include it, I'm going to include it. But perspective-wise, it actually shouldn't be showing on that other side, but I want it to show, so a branch actually. Huh. Okay. It's like little tendril, little things. I gotta do like a mouth study of that. Little mandibles. Eyes. How could I forget the eyes? The eyes are. Yeah. Like that. Alright, let's see. Guy. This is probably pretty incorrect. Actually, it probably should come here. Yeah, and come on, buddy. What is this? I draw bugs, but we gotta figure these guys out. Sure. Bent carapace here. Or chip. Art. It's kite. Chitin? 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 Ridge. Here. it was under, but not quite looking beetle-like, but that's okay. Learn. Admittedly, I'm drawing this from a perspective, not my reference. Like, my reference does not look like this. My reference looks like this. And I'm kind of just imagining what this would look like to the side without actually getting a good, photo of like what a beetle mandible for this species looks like. Or so I mean, that's like, training the visual library is I need to look at those, but I did want to try this to just see how it would look without kind of looking into it. Yeah, like this connection right here, the thorax, is it right? No, abdomen. Thorax is the big part. Abdomen, head, abdomen, thorax. Yes, I don't know. Anyways, like this connection right here on the photo, it kind of just slots into the side, but then obviously I have no frame of reference for how it does slot on the side. Does it have this room here? Is it more tucked under? Is it just, fucking magnetic connect to the side? I'm not sure, right? But we're kind of just making guesses. And then I do want to just take a look at it after. See. Is it like how close I got? Maybe not how close I got, but. Alright. There is the middle section here. Separates. The wings would separate. And a little. Wings are probably going to be above where the legs connect. I kind of fill in information there. Just assume. Just assume. Let's have that happen. Here. This will work. This will work. Just about. For the other leg on the opposite side. Spread. That's a tough one. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll kind of take that for what it is. I think what I'm missing most is the kind of wedge shape of the head. On the actual drawing, it's probably a little more drastic. Actually, way more drastic. I think it's more like the actual photo. It's like this wide. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It's actually about that wide. Yeah. And really, the inside, looks like it has like little parts, like filler thingies and that's when it actually, is out. Then the eyes sit really far out. It's like over here. Yeah. Similar to the armor plating, like the knight. Some bits of curvature that are interesting. Huh. Interesting. There's one more beetle I wanted to look at because for the ones that forward one. This one. That's a pretty horns on this one. So sorry. That out of frame. Probably like the big bulbous front body connects like thing. It's the eye. This is the horn section. Okay, so up. Kind of like this. Yeah. Back. Whoa. Cool. Or maybe it tucks more that way. Kind of rides that shit back. Huh. This guy follows. Yeah, Jengi, big beetle. Big beetle. Big green beetle. This one kind of, it's funny, this one hooks. Oh, I know that's a tough hook into the crevice of the book, but just hooks that way. Oh. That one. This one probably. Like horn design, because I do, again, I want to do like some sort of beetle knight. We'll take kind of inspiration things. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think swap pen. This guy's getting a little drized, right? He put in a new cartridge in. Let's check. Let's check together. Wait, this thing's almost halfway. We're chilling. We are chilling. Yeah. So, I think I would like to study more, but I only probably have enough time to just get into the drawing, so it'll probably be a bit of a rougher sketch compared to. It's fine. This in mind are ethals. Now, let's do a bit of a hot swab here. The big one. So, oh, this guy. Bing chilling. Yeah, true. Bing chilling. This guy. I just have four. My sketchbook. I'll be finishing this year. Um, we have a bit of an after-school drawing club, so I had some students sign. But this mech made in the morning when I got this. Yeah, this is again no pencil. There was no reference here. It was just like grabbing from my visual library of what a mech would be. A little bit of Chappie. I don't even know what this is. Maybe like a bit of a booster from frickin' pod racing from Star Wars, and this kind of almost skeletal spinal fixture. I grew up with Bionicles as a kid, so that's probably the biggest not the biggest inspiration, but that kind of form. I think a little Transformers, a little Bionic in the brain still. And then for those that didn't see, was the one I posted on my socials. It was this guy right here, a rendition of Gothic style. I believe it should be 15th century armor. And then me kind of studying and labeling all the pieces. You know, helm, which is in this case is a sallet style, a sallet. The bever, which covers the chin, technically connected to the gorget or the gorget as well, though I think sometimes it could be one piece, it could be separate. Pauldrons, the cuirass, the placard, the folds. I'm not sure how to pronounce the thigh plate. It's the cuisse. I'm not French. Fuck it. Paulines, greaves, the gauntlets, the vambraces, the coutiers, which is the elbow guards, and then the rear brace, and then up here the kind of decorative circular plate along the connection of the cuirass and the pauldrons, or the shoulder plates, would be the rondelle, though I didn't label it. But yeah, we have, you know, just some, after I did a kind of refined sketch, basically just wanted to sketch out and be like, all right, well, can I sketch this really quickly? Now that I have these forms, can I really quickly sketch it in a different pose? So I did, you know, have sword in the low vomtug, kind of long sword form, kind of resting the blade on the shoulder, readied. And then this one, of course, kind of a closer medium shot of, though the perspective of the blade, not as good. It looks more like a short sword now, where it should be this length, so the perspective should have been way more skewed. Should have been like vanishing point, boom, and then really get the blade kind of skewed perspective to really give length. But you know, we're getting back into it. Yeah, some notes here, things I made note of, but that is going to be what we're working on. As you can see, I'm not working on this side of the paper, mainly because it's really hard to draw on this like little thin flap. Like laying it down, this is pretty tough to get a flat surface. So what I'm planning to do is I'm going to be drawing this direction, only right page, and then when we get all the way to the end, I'm gonna flip this sumbitch over this way. The drawings, I guess, will be, they'll be kind of be upside down from each other. Oh crap, hello, focus, there you go. Upside down from each other. But now, when I flip the book over, now we can work on the opposite side. Or yeah, like that. Drawings will be upright on this side, so it's nice and flat. But yeah, it'll just be a quirk of the thing. But yes, sir, Jengi, big brain, big brain. Gotta work smarter, not harder. But, and all the fucking scuffs on my mat. All right, here we go. So, get your knight out of the way. Workshop a couple thumbnails, maybe really quick sketch thumbnails for our beetle knight. They're gonna be lined, but maybe just, you know, some light work. Let's see what our lines tell us, right? Obviously, if we're looking for beetle, you know, we're kind of thinking of something kind of husky in a silhouette, but of just trying to find something here. And what I really do dig about the apologies. What I really do dig about the bottom kind of tertiary segmentation of the beetle leg is that we can kind of play with it being like, I mean, that it could definitely articulate to be one of the gauntlets maybe, but I do like the idea of that kind of, this kind of saw leg kind of being like a weapon almost, you know, like maybe they're big and chunky in the armor, but like, you know, maybe they got this kind of agile like sword going on. Sure, what we could put together there. Something, no, just kind of thumbnail. See what idea jumps at us right now. And then kind of go from there. Go for like a big pulse one. We'll go really exaggerate of blade here. Really rotund head. It almost looks stag-like. The eyes all the way up there. Something like and maybe heads, you know. At the end of the day, like when I was growing up, I wanted to be a concept artist. I like making characters. So this is kind of my shtick, even though I'm not the greatest at it. It's kind of like what I like doing. But this is why, you know, one thing I also really want to study with my time is anatomy eventually. Maybe just simultaneously with stuff, you know. And this is big chungus thighs. Really getting that like vocation of like beetle tertiary step there. Just like tiny legs, you know. Something. We're figuring it out. Let's see. Django has an idea. Oh, how about using its horn as a sword, where he can remove and reattach? Okay, yeah. Maybe we can. Let's see. Let's try. I keep that kind of wide, flat head. Let's do. Has like one hand on it. No, like one hand that's kind of grasping a horn. And it's like kind of cutting through, maybe? We need to make it more blade-like, though. Like that. And his hand. Sping at it. proportions are a little rough here, but that's fine. For this one, off. Shake my hand out a little. Hmm. Hmm. Liking the idea. I am. Fortunately for me, I don't like this sketch. I want to refine it, but I do want to finish this sketch though. I do like the idea of having skinny legs though. That really sells the insect. So, I guess really just showcase him having both. Or just having his whole missing, or like one variation with the, or maybe we could do, one thing. Let me search. I might keep right past my little bit of a reference inspiration. That kind of wide wedge, very common amongst at least a stag beetle specifically. Here, if you, that is, it's the general. Just, whatever. Right, there's some bullshit. Word that. I feel like if we did like a frontal helm, did like some variation of a helm, did that, I feel like I'm gonna keep the horns up here. I feel like if they were down, they read too much like tusks. It was more elephant, but maybe we could just kind of compensate with that with the overall design to give more beetle. Like, I guess if it's too high, then it's probably looking a little too stag, like normal stag, not stag beetle. That designs. Workshopping. And if we're going to incorporate the bladed horn design. Maybe, maybe it's like not so much that it's like a wide square helm, but like flattened this way almost. That play around with having a little bit of Space Marine. Okay, kind of give silhouette. Because what I want to do is be backwards then. Shape. I go like it's like a little silhouette of that going on. Maybe we can do this is flat there. Okay, because then ooh, almost like scythes, but what do they call? Like yeah, like little scythes almost. We got a little more that silhouette. Give it like that look. That look. Yeah. You draw it from the film and it's a plane. Yeah. Maybe something like that. Just kind of blade. We'll flatten this out to look more blade-like, but like that. Kind of big scythes looking swords. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Something like that. Something like that. We'll cook it a little bit. Cook it a little bit. But the rest of the armor, I still wanna workshop a little bit of the I like the rotundness. I'm keeping like this round knight look. I kind of love it. Like this kind of round ass knight. But we're keep that look. Keeping across. Just do a flat end. Or jet. Yeah, like a jet. Simple. Yeah. Keep the form look. I don't think I want big pauldrons. Why? I feel like no. More iconic for the people is not like. It's very much the body. Hands down. I think model that after. I'm gonna do simple, like simple brigandine. Simple coutures. Gauntlet. Oh no, we'll keep. And this is like him not busting out the weapons yet, you know. Not busting it out yet. Kind of fucking ore farming standing there. I'm gonna incorporate maybe little quads. Something wide. I know it's like silly and like dress like almost, but I kind of like making the folds like completely comical. It has a certain appeal to me right now. Now we're trying to over stylize this, right? And maybe give him. That's the. Oof. Die. Straight and keeps the center body thick. Yeah, well, I mean that's the folds. Yeah, for sure. That's the outline. I like that look for him. Kind of just playing around with it. I think I'm gonna try this variation with keeping his legs like relatively skinny. We did say that lower leg is gonna be skinny. I want to keep that. Ew. Okay. Then let's try to do it with his swords. It breaks them bitches off, you know, and he's just like, grrr, you know. Maybe do we give a little skull? Like a horn skull look. Oh, that car's going crazy out there. Yeah, like I want this to be comically just kind of large, and the skirt, the fold of it, just really sell that look. But then when he's in that combat mode, I need him to be on that fucking timing. And you see like sections of his helm. I guess are just completely off, I guess. Maybe we'll just stick with that look. It's off. Okay. Making the legs funny. Um er, snap. Okay, okay. I think the general silhouette and concept that I kinda like. Good idea, Jenki. Good idea. Good idea. Um Now, uh what we're gonna do is, yeah, I think we'll just kind of make our slightly more refined concept here. Probably won't look as refined as this guy was made with a reference, of course. Uh, but I think just something a little more refined, a little more thought put in. Um, Get it from there. Question is, God, I almost want to make two because I'm thinking of a pose that can sell the idea that, like, yeah, his horns are detachable. Hold on, maybe we got a thumbnail, a couple poses that we're actually gonna work with by the end. Maybe like try to do this one where he's like about to grab this, but one. I mean, that's possible. Let's actually go with that one. But yeah, maybe we go with it, but instead of holding it frontward, it would make sense when he grabs it, it's backwards blade. Maybe we actually go with how he would grab it, which is when he grabs it and reaches up, it's gonna end up being backwards. Could do that. I'm just wondering if it'll read that he's actually off. But read as if he's just holding it to his head, and then it's getting mixed up. Yeah, all this work about composition stuff, being able to like get this point across. Good skill. Something we're just gonna, work at. Something that we just gotta get better at. So dynamic. Some more dynamic. So go like this. like. Hmm. All right. Got about 25 minutes to finish up this big sketch then, eh? Okay. Okay. Yeah, maybe we'll do something like that. 2-point perspective. Right. Sorry, I'm kind of mapping it out in my head. Swig of water. Bottle just water in my hand. Fantastic. Paper wet. Right. Yeah, I guess we'll just gotta go for it. No matter how it looks. Now we learn. Alright. And I'm probably gonna go with this type of like low angle pose. Slightly sliced hints. Okay, we'll work with them. That's good. Okay. Let's start with here. Oh, wait, I ran out of ink, right? Replacement midstream? Hello? Getting near the bottom. But it ain't out yet. So string. Flashy with this, but that's fine. Apologize for the lack of speaking here. Get this finished up, and I kind of locked in for trying to get this idea to stick. I gotta say, the idea of the piece, I'm not the happiest with my execution. I think more, and given the time, I'm okay with it. But more thumbnailing and more research would have been nice. I would sit there. It's whatever. So all this process is learning and getting better. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. Ali, coughing up a storm over here. All right. Last few bits. We just crossed the 2-hour mark. Make sure we get out of here at a prompt time. Do the last few touches. But overall, given the time, okay with this. As a first iteration, I can't wait to revisit this concept when I'm better improved. Yeah, I think this type of piece probably just needs a two-parter. Like one where he has his hands grasping for his horns, and then another where like a motioned rip out, probably with some motion lines as the contours. That's the better outcome here. First stages. And hopefully if I did everything right, this stream should be recorded. Not only that, but should be uploaded. Stay on this channel. It's staying on there. Basically, I mean, for all intents and purposes, these streams are for me. Gives me motivation to keep on going, but also just, and have documentation of progress. I don't have to be like, oh man, like I remember how it felt to do this piece. Like, no, I could legitimately look back at footage, my thought processes, my literal like line work and abilities. So I said I was gonna do 2-point perspective. This is not 2-point perspective. But it's such a complex figure. I was overzealous in attempting to try to do 2-point. Still in the basics of my primitive form, but oh god, coughing up a storm. All right. I think that's it for now. um I say brown hash marks. Freaking cough got me, bro. Yeah, but well, thank you guys so much for watching. Jengi, thank you for being here, bud. Any ghost watchers or people in the future who watch this and who's interested in just like a essentially a big drawing journal, and recounts of my progress. I can't wait to look back on this. But for now, one day at a time. Sounds like I'm crying, but bro, this cough got me bad. But yeah, things I would change, things I wish would work out a little bit better. Dynamic perspective of the arm is decent, but like the body didn't skew and follow suit I was hoping for. I probably should kind of block that out. But like I said, this is the trials and tribulations of doing ink. So you have to live with your mistakes, be able to assess them and be confident with lines. So just more practice. And I just really want to get a pose down that conveys horns being swords, you know, that doesn't, that a pose that doesn't require 2 drawings of the knight. I'm okay with drawing the knight twice, but you know, something creative that could kind of demonstrate both the drawing of the swords from the helm while also still them presenting as kind of like stag beetle horns. But yeah, anyways, let me go ahead and sign this real quick. Hey, that's the 14th, maybe. Yes, sir. Ooh. Stag beetle knight. Nice you, nice you. Well, again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be doing these, I don't know. I'll do them as often as I can. Try to do once per day, even if it's just, you know, as little as an hour or even more. But yeah, we're just gonna keep on drawing and doodling, fill this guy out. But yeah, I mean, one of these, those. Soon enough, I'm just gonna be really happy with a filled out sketchbook. But for now, yes, Jengi, thank you. I appreciate that you like it. Thank you for the idea. Seriously. NW progress, actual factuals. Day by day, bit by bit, get a little bit better. Keep on drawing. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you on the flip side. But yeah, take it easy.